Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I finally get to update you on Snip. So for anyone who doesn't know, 11 weeks ago Snip had surgery and she had a lot that happened that I will go through. But basically last week I went for a vet visit to find out how she's recovering and if we can progress to the next stage of rehab basically. So for anyone who doesn't know what's happened with Snip or hasn't seen the videos previous, I am going to do a short recap, like literally a very short one compared to what happened. However, if you don't want to watch the recap or you already know what's happened and you just want to skip to the vet visit, it'll be on the time marks down below. Just skip to vet visit. So there you go. Everyone who knows what's happening, off you go. Everyone who doesn't, stay for this part. So I just wanted to give you a quick sort of recap of exactly what has happened with Snip. So I bought Snip at the end of last year, as you guys know. And we were going great guns, but I could never quite get her back end to develop how I wanted it to. She was never lame or anything like that, but then on Christmas Eve I jumped her, and luckily we were filming with my photographer who's got a fancy slow-mo camera, and we noticed her hop after one jump. She wasn't lame, she kind of cantered off fine after that, but it sort of confirmed a little suspicion I had that something may have been underlying. We did have her 5-stage vetted and we now believe that there was something going on at the time she was sold to us. So she was sold with what we then found were the injuries. So we took her to the vets. We had a full workup done on her as sort of a performance workup rather than a lameness workup, and they quickly noticed on the lunge she wasn't holding herself quite right, she wasn't stepping under herself very well, and you guys have kind of seen the footage from that day, so it wasn't good news at all. I was kind of expecting she maybe needed some injections or something, but when we did the ultrasound they found that her hind suspensory ligaments were thickened, and as a result of that she had been compensating for quite a while, so her SI and her hocks had a few issues as well, so her SI was very tight. And her hocks, one actually had a little bit of extra bone growth. So with all that happening and all that found, I was obviously completely devastated because I just bought this brand new horse who I was hoping to event this season, like the coming season, and it looked like she needed surgery, and also she'd been sold to us with these injuries and they hadn't been disclosed, and she'd passed a 5-stage vetting, and it was all very, very upsetting for me at the time. So it took me a little while to kind of update you all. But as you know, Snip then went in for surgery rather quickly in the new year. As soon as I could get her in, she went straight in for surgery. The surgery was very successful. She had both hind suspensory ligaments denerved and the fascia cut to stop any sort of pain or any inflammation happening in those areas. So the surgery went well, and then she came home 2 days later. Now that was when the second video of Snip's update happened, and you all saw me as an absolute mess on YouTube and on Instagram. By the way, if you ever want to follow like my story quite closely, Insta's the place to do it because I put stories up every single day. But anyway, so Snip came home, and then she came in on the Wednesday, and by the Sunday I think it was, obviously Sunday, out of hours vet bill, thanks for that one Snip. No, I got down in the morning and it was quite clear she was colking quite badly. So again, got herds out straight away, had her rectalled, discovered that she had a few things displaced, that not everything was sitting where it should. So then back into the veterinary hospital she went, and she was there for a week. Now we genuinely thought that she would have to have another surgery to put everything back where it should be, and would need colic surgery, or B, that we may actually lose her. It was very, very touch and go, and it was the most horrendous week of my life completely. It was atrocious. Like when Smokey had his colic, that was really bad, but with this one we also had the added risk that she just had surgery and that we couldn't really go for colic surgery because her legs might not, you know, cope with it, and it was atrocious. But anyway, you guys helped me through it. You were so supportive, and you've not really been updated much since. You know that she's back home and that she's doing well. So she came back a week later, she did a box rest, and then she started a rehab. And to be honest, from coming back from colic, she has gone from strength to strength to strength. She's doing really well in a rehabilitation. So up to the vet visit, she was doing 25 minutes walks a day. And she was really enjoying that. She's been such a good girl, like even on box rest, she was amazing. And it's really solidified for me that I made the right choice in getting her. Despite all of the issues we had, her personality is incredible. So I am very excited that she will hopefully make a full recovery, and I will have an incredible little mare at the end of all of this. But that's kind of brought us all up in a very quick way of what is happening in this video. So she's had surgery, she's gone through the initial rehab, obviously we had the colic and everything, but kind of over that, hopefully, touch wood. And now this week she has gone in for her vet visit. So this is to tell us A, if the surgery was successful, and B, what the next steps are in her rehabilitation. So we're going to go a little bit back in time now, to the actual day of the vet visit, and I'll show you everything that happened. So guys, today is the day, and if you're thinking, Georgia, you look unwell, you look tired, you look pale, you look a mess, I am. So I have not really slept for the past week properly. I didn't think I was that bad, but I've been internally stressing a lot about today. So today is Snip's 10-week vet checkup. Today is the day if we find out if the surgery went well, if everything's how it should be, if she's recovering well, if her rehabilitation is working, and the big one, the big one that I am so nervous about is finding out if we can get back on board and whether we can start some ridden rehab. I'm fully aware that if they do say I can ride her, it will be walk and it will be hacking and it will be straight line work, and that it will still be a long way off actually proper work under saddle. However, I just want to get on her. Like, she has been doing so well in her walking. But yeah, so today is the day that we find out. It's very early. I've been up since 5 AM. We need to be at the vets for them opening, so I asked them to put me in first thing because I was like, I cannot cope with waiting all day. Let's just get there and get this done. So I'm going to head to Mum's in a moment and get the box. If you haven't already seen what's happening with Snip, I won't go through it this morning, but I'll put a link in the description box below for you, so you can catch up on everything that's happened so far regarding her surgery and everything. But yeah, today is the 10-week mark and it's our check-up day to find out basically if everything's okay. I think, like, in my heart, I feel like she's doing really well, that she's looking really well, she's feeling really well. I started long reining her recently and she's just been stepping out really nicely. She's definitely got her attitude back, like she's not as quiet, she's come into her own a bit, and I think that she is feeling well. So fingers crossed when they trot her up and lunge her today, that is what they'll tell me, that she's looking well and that we can progress. I don't know what the alternative is if she's not, but anyway, let's go to the vets and find out how Snip's doing. Young carrot. Snippies. Bite it. So we got to herds and this was just us waiting in the box for the vet to come and the vet to be ready to assess Snip. Snip makes me laugh. She will not eat her hay or her haylage the entire time that the box is moving, but the second you stood still, she's like, right, it's snack time. So she made the most of her lovely Silvermore haylage while we waited, and I'm just there like so anxious I can't think of food. And then the vet actually trotted her up on hard ground first, but I missed it because I was chatting to the vet and just basically updating them on how she'd been in rehab and box rest and walks and everything. So this is actually her worst rein, I think. no, this is the better rein, her left rein, because it's her right hock that's worse. Obviously, she was like not really paying attention, but she's looking so much better. Even I could tell from the trot up that she was moving a lot freer on the back. She wasn't dragging that leg. She wasn't bending ridiculously outside, and she was actually stepping under herself. So I was stood there like, oh, this is looking a lot better. And I was so nervous because obviously she's not lunged or trotted at all for 10 weeks. So it's really nice to see her out and about and moving. And then the next thing that the vet did was just to ultrasound her suspensories. And the main thing we're looking for is just straightness, just straight lines on those suspensories to show that the operation has worked and that they've healed nicely. And that was all looking really good. So then Snip just got popped in a stable and I took her brad off. This is her just saying hello to her neighbour. And then we had to go and have a chat with the vet and basically tell us the results of the assessment. So we are now a week past the vet visit and I finally had a chance to let you all know what's happened. So when we were there, as you saw, Snip lunged really nicely, she trotted up well, so that was like, I was getting very excited thinking, oh, this is good news. And the vet actually turned around to me and was like, she's looking really, really well. And I was like, yes, that is exactly what I need to hear. But the main important part was the ultrasound. So when they ultrasounded Snip's legs, the main thing we were looking for was that it was straight, that there wasn't any issues with the hind suspensories, that everything had healed correctly, and the vet literally said they are looking perfect. So it couldn't be better news. She is doing really well on her strength, she's doing really well on her fitness, she's feeling good in herself, and that all means that I have been allowed to get back on board Snip. So I rode her for the very first time the other day, and it was incredible. She was so good. I put my body protector on, preparing myself for her to be a little bit excitable about being back in the saddle. However, she was so good. It was like she'd not even had the last 3 months of work off. We are only allowed to walk her for 4 weeks, and then we can begin trot work at the 4-week mark, slowly build that up for 2 weeks, and then she goes in for another review to find out if she needs anything injecting. So they did say at the moment she's not showing any signs of needing her SI or her hocks having steroid injections. However, once she starts proper work and doing a little bit more, she may need those injecting. So in 6 weeks time from this video, she'll be going back into the vets for another review to possibly have those injected, and then possibly to start some sort of proper ridden work, in the arena. At the moment she is only hacking. We're doing straight line work to strengthen and to build her, so that is the really crucial part. She is very much enjoying it and is trying to trot every other stride, so she's feeling very good in herself, which does make it a little bit more difficult for me, a little bit more challenging, because she's I call her Snip the sloth, because she's just so chill, and she's not very chill at the minute. She wants to work, so we need to, do this very slowly and build her up very, very carefully, because the last thing I want to do at all is rush her, cause her any injuries. That is absolutely the last thing I want. So with all that now, bringing you up to current day, obviously I'm back on board, and they also suggested starting to take Snip to an equine water treadmill to help strengthen her, because what that will do is it will strengthen her in a controlled environment where we can go every single week and slowly build it up. We need to strengthen those hind legs and start building her muscle back up over her back and over her back end, so that she can then work nicely. The vets are very optimistic that she will make a full recovery given what she's done so far, but basically this is just a test to see how she gets on with an increased workload and with rider weight back on her. So I'm going to be riding her, just taking her out for the walk hacks a couple of times a week, 3-4 times a week, and then she's doing her equine water treadmill once a week. So I'm kind of like riding, rest day, equine water treadmill, rest day, just to ensure that she gets plenty of rest to recover in between doing anything. So yeah, that is the update. I am so happy that Snip is back under saddle. It was absolutely incredible to get her back in ridden work, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for us. Thank you so much to everyone for supporting us so far through this horrendous journey. I would not wish this on anyone. But I've got a very happy mare at the moment, so that's all I care about, that she is happy and pain-free, and hopefully we will have some very exciting things coming up over the next few months. I definitely think by the end of summer that she'll be, you know, hopefully doing a little bit more, so I'll keep you guys obviously up to date on here and on my other socials, so be sure to follow me on them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon for another video. Bye guys!